Hi there, David Banyachek here, your building capacity coach. I want to talk to you today about the love-hate relationship that most leaders, managers, supervisors don't even realize. It isn't even on an unconscious level you have with this term called personal discipline. You love it because personal discipline is a great thing. When people are disciplined, it usually means that they are in the process of focusing on acting and doing. And action, choices made in our lives are the foundation for results and success. You struggle because when you look at your team, there's usually a huge varying levels of personal discipline on various members of the team that you have. It's not consistently applied. And so when you look at the bell curve of performance, your top 10% of performers, they're usually like overflowing with personal discipline. They see a goal, they get excited about it, they see a pathway, they know the process, and they're like dogs on a bone. They're not going to let go, and they're not going to get interrupted, and that focus leads to you heralding them with president club nominations and bonuses and a whole bunch of things at the end of the year because of the results they achieve. And then there's your pack. Maybe your middle 80% of people that are doing all right. They're not going to get fired. They're producing for you. But if you were to examine the personal discipline in their lives, it usually kicks in when it's needed. And so there's been a goal set for them by the organization, and that's kind of where they've set their eyes. And maybe I've never done this. Yeah, right. In the middle of the month, when you realize that you may not achieve your goals, it just kicks you into another gear. It gets your butt off the couch. Not that you were sitting on a couch physically, but metaphorically, it gets your butt off the couch, and they get that focus, and they drive towards that goal. They don't see anything past it, but they drive towards it. And on a regular basis, they deliver okay results. And then there's the top or the bottom 10%, not the top 10%. The bottom 10% are struggling, and they're awesome people. They're great people. But things that are going on in their life, usually that have nothing to do with work, absolutely dominate their thoughts, absolutely dominate their worldview, and really are a huge barrier to them having any sort of personal discipline in their daily work habit. And until those are removed, they're going to continue to struggle. So you need help as a leader. And that help to me comes from a concept I call environmental discipline. Environmental discipline is the power of an environment to influence people into action, even when they are afraid of it or don't feel like it. I want to tell you the story of my time at Shell Canada, or my last role at Shell. I was a product marketing manager for a bunch of lubricants. And our team manager took our team out to Kananaskis for a team building exercise. And in hindsight, it was awesome. When I was first in it, it was horrible. But I want to tell you about it. And so the group of about 10 of us went out, and we went out to Kananaskis country at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. Beautiful. You need to visit it. Travel Alberta. And we came into a clearing. And in this clearing was a 40-foot pole with a bunch of pegs notched on the side. And at the top, there was this wire pulley system that was pegged to the top and gradually came back to the ground. And as you're probably guessing, our job was going to be climbing this pole, standing on top, and because we were going to be outfitted with a jacket that was connected to this pulley system and also had 6 or 7 ropes that our teammates would hold to balance us, was to climb up to the top, stand on top, jump off, and glide down. Now, some of you are thinking, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. That's in your nature. There's no issues with that. For me, my number one fear is heights. So I was like a deer in headlights in the middle of the forest. And there was a big piece of me not wanting to do this. See, that kind of mimics the struggle that people have with personal discipline. Fears other things get in the way of the focus they need to deliver the results that they need, not only to make your company successful, but for them to start to feel good about what they're achieving, build self-esteem, and become who they were destined to become. I watched a few team members climb up. Now, you need to know that in this environment, we weren't forced to go up this pole. They recognized that some people had fear of heights, but we were encouraged to, if we could muster the strength, to do it. And we were encouraged by the fact that, number one, there's a pulley system. You're not jumping 50 feet to your death. As you watch your teammates, actually it was quite gradual, and it wasn't flying down at 100 miles an hour. And the second was that there were ropes, and that if ever you felt like you were out of balance, your teammates were instructed to pull those ropes and to help you balance. And so it was an environment that was created for your success. So when my turn came, I took a gulp and I started up the pole, and about 2/3 way up the pole, I was feeling good, and I made the mistake of looking down. So I'm 30 feet in the air, and as I looked down, I panicked. And what seemed like probably 5 minutes, but realistically was probably 30 seconds, I froze. But then I felt the ropes pulling and people supporting me, and people were cheering me on. And gradually I took that next step and that next step and that next step, and I got to the top. And what is the circumference of like 6 or 7 feet at the bottom looked like 2 inches at the top. But with the aid of those ropes, I was able to get my feet up and stand up on top of this pole. And when I jumped off and slowly glided to the ground, there was no feeling like it. I had overcome. I had overcome not just because of my personal ability to overcome, not because of personal discipline, but because of the environment. The environment contained 2 important things that are part of any corporate environment that produces results. Number 1, accountability. We weren't, as I said, forced to go up that pole, but there was this positive team pressure for our own good and our own success to do things that we weren't comfortable doing. And then there was support that was very physically demonstrated by the ropes that were attached to our particular vests. And we overcame. Here's my question for you as team leaders and supervisors and managers. What would happen if even 20% of your pack? See, today, many of you, and I've made this mistake in the past, you've given up on them. Not that you've given up on them in a bad way, but you've just decided that, they're okay, they're not going to get fired, but they don't have what it takes to give you that next level of performance. You've just kind of settled for good. And I'm telling you, that's a lie. Now, people need to choose it. But what would happen if 20% of your people in the right environment could, like I did, walk through their fears that were inhibiting excellence and that next level of performance and actually start to deliver it for you? What would that mean to your bottom line? What would that mean to your results? What would that mean to the energy on your team? What would that mean to engagement? What would that mean to all of those things? I think you blow your results out of the water in a fantastic way. So here's the scoop. I'm looking for 10 leaders. Obviously, in this age of COVID, we can't get together live in a spot like I normally do, building capacity workshops out to the country. But I'm looking for 10 leaders for a Zoom focus group. To over a period of time, we can decide together what that looks like, whether it's 1 hour segments over several days or a couple hours over a few days or whatever that looks like. But if you have managers or leaders and supervisors in your company, or you yourself are one that know that you need to take your team to the next level, or you want to take your team to the next level, environmental discipline is the tool that will help get you there.